7000 Apart isn't just a band, like it's literally
our life.
Big round of applause for 7000 Apart.
So tonight is much more special, I think, because it is like an hour.
Yeah.
And then it's all our music.
You ready? So, my name is Amelie and yes, that was all that I was supposed to say. That maybe, no, not that one.
My name is Jonathan Christine, and we are 7000 Apart. Just got a new computer. Well, I was a senior in high school in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I had grown up in Wisconsin my entire life.
So I'm from Sweden, so I'm from Stockholm, Sweden. So we met in high school about 5 years ago, a little over now, and I was an exchange student from Sweden, and we met in music theory class.
Well, how we first hung out was I told her that I had a studio in my basement, my parents' house, and she thought it was like this super fancy glass, like glass wall studio.
Yeah, like proper, like my dubbing studios back in Sweden.
It's literally just a basement. So
it was a basement with one mic
and like a computer in a corner.
Board.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really what I thought, but I mean everything turned out okay.
Yeah. It's so fun. We were just talking the other day that like that part of our life. I mean, we've been together like 5 years, essentially, and like 3 of those years were long distance.
Yeah.
And like that part of our life was like so. Like we almost forget about it now when we're together all the time.
Because it was so different.
It was very different, and like I don't think we ever loved each other any less. It was just kind of like when you're not around the person all the time, you forget what they sound like, you forget how tall they are, you forget what their favorite things are because you can't ask them all the time. So
Yeah, you're right.
kind of a lot of people I think take for granted. Like, and we almost
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Like, they're so cool. We got this one. He's a Swedish, he's really popular in Sweden.
Do you like it?
I don't know, I haven't listened to him. No. The Naked Man. Yeah. Kind of funny.
Anyway, so it was pretty exotic when a Swedish person came to your school. Except you thought I was British, so like that's funny.
She had a British accent, so that was cool.
Now I don't.
Nope.
I have like a bigger American accent than you do.
Yeah, you have Valley Girl accent now.
I know, I'm so sorry.
What? Okay, cool.
Han skryter med att han betalt kalas och kallar mig bakom ryggen för ett svin.
We dated for a year, then I had to go back to Sweden and John went off to college, so we were actually in a long distance relationship for 3 years. And that's when we figured that we wanted to do something together and we needed something in common and something to talk about, because when you're apart like that, it's really hard to come up with new things to talk about and you don't have anything in common, and yeah. So we decided to start a YouTube channel.
I would record the piano or guitar or tracks or whatever, and I would send it to her in Sweden, and she would overdub it with a vocal track, and then send it back to me, and then I'd edit it together, and then because of the time difference, if there were any mistakes, it took sometimes a day or two. So
it was a huge process. Bye, bye, bye.
was really messy, and like with school and everything on top of that, it was just like it was super hard to keep up. We wanted to do weekly videos, and even doing like every other week was almost impossible.
Yeah, it was. I think we made like what, over like the course of 2 years, we made what?
7 or
Seven?
8
7 music
videos?
videos? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe. This is how I warm up.
He never does that.
Maybe do something
Can we
cooler.
play Close Your Eyes? 'Cause it was like we wanted to do so much more, but when you have like 2 lives completely separate from each other, it's like a lot harder to incorporate those kind of things. I don't know that. Ask me. Who's gonna lay on top of you?
How Jon warms up.
Blanket.
I think at least for me, I always knew that we were going to be together from the very beginning, but it was a lot of just being in our own worlds and having our own life for like 3 years. So like you would almost forget that you were in a relationship even, and like aside from the fact that you were texting each other all day and stuff like that. Once I proposed, it was like 100%.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, once he proposed, then like everything felt so much better because then you didn't have that uncertainty anymore.
yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, okay. Like I made a commitment. I said yes that I was gonna marry him now. So like now I have no choice, and it was so much easier then. Year we entered this competition called WIXX Big Break, and so we sent in a video and they picked out the 10 best videos, people's bands, right. And we did a live shooting at the Lyric Room, which was where we had the showcase. So we did like a live
video with just one song, and they filmed it and then
put it on their website for people to vote.
With a photo that is unreleased. So cool.
I love that photo.
Yeah. We brought a bunch so we can like sign them and give them out for free. Then we had to spend the next couple weeks just like bothering all of our friends and like, hey, you should vote for us, because you could vote once a day. So we were really, really obnoxious and we posted about it so much. But I mean, it led to that we won! So, our prize was this showcase.
Really? Is that all they have? Yeah. Why are we selling these?
Yeah. The showcase was essentially a show with WIXX having someone there just to talk about each of the artists who were playing. So we had 2 openers, Charlie and Ash, and so they would just say a little bit about each of them and a little bit about us before we performed. A cool thing, I guess.
Yeah, so we actually got to meet people from the radio station. We even got to tour the place, which was really cool. We got a little private tour of the radio.
And they know who we are.
Yeah, and now they know who we are, and we even got recommended to sing the national anthem at a baseball game thanks to them. So it's a really, really awesome connection to have. WIXX wanted us to pick 2 openers that would play half an hour each before we did our 1-hour set. And so we chose Ash Boltman right away.
Right, so before the winners of our Big Break contest, 7,000 apart, take the stage, we've got some great opening acts. And the first I'm going to introduce, his name is Charlie Urick.
So Charlie's artist manager, he works with some clubs sometimes to just like do these awesome events. So, and we had a show in Appleton the same night that they were there, and Charlie was there just to hang out.
Round of applause for Charlie Urick.
So we started talking to him, and he seemed really cool, and then we decided that we should just meet up with him, and we decided that he should be our second opener, because he's a really cool guy, and we really like his music.
It was a real thing. I had to walk away.
We really liked when we listened on SoundCloud. We were like, wow, this is really something that like sounds very pop, sounds very polished, and something that we would probably hear. You'd probably hear on the radio.
Didn't know before, but I'm sure that I do now.
When we heard him live too, he was very jazz, which was it was a really cool genre as well. Just like Amelie said, his voice is
ridiculous.
very cool. So.
Very polished, very, very nice. He has like awesome runs. And yeah, he's really, really good.
Welcome to MTV Cribs. My name is Charlie Urick, and this is not my green room. I signed it once a few years ago with like one of those Bic pens because he didn't have a Sharpie. So I just wanted to be official, that's all.
We have a Sharpie. Can you borrow ours? I don't know where it went, but I think we have it upstairs. You want to grab it?
Oh my gosh.
Joe, you did awesome.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Charlie!
John,
You did so well.
thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that.
Glad you were.
Thanks so much. I'm so glad that I didn't like throw up too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like rule number one of being a musician, don't throw up on the stage.
Yeah. I have a
Find
friend who
another way
actually
to
did
dispose of your excrement.
that.
Our next performer, though, is going to be really, really cool. Ash Boltman is in Milwaukee now. She was actually born in Alaska. And her music is...
She is an artist that we just, when we saw her live the first time, we just like fell in love with her. And we actually met at an open mic, just randomly, like about a year ago, and now we're like best friends.
Please give it up for Ash Boltman.
So we try to involve her in everything we do because then we have a reason to see her because she lives in Port Washington outside of Milwaukee.
Why don't you smile and towards the sun?
Ash Boltman, and she was playing with her fiance Blake, but when we met Ash, she usually just plays like her guitar and just her singing, and she just has this magical vibe around her. And she's a fantastic songwriter.
Until I grew up past the trees and broke the atmosphere.
I love her songs and I love her albums. Like that's actually an album that I would listen to, you know? Like it's really my style of music. If I would put on like one of my favorite playlists, she would fit right in. So for me, she's just like, she just has that genre, she has that magic, which is really cool. Because she plays like, what would you say? Folk, indie folk, hippie. I don't know.
Pretty much.
But she just has a really cool genre.
Bohemian, like
Yeah, bohemian, indie bohemian folk.
dream folk thing. Mixture
Yeah,
of
anyway,
stuff.
she's just super cool. We loved having them, and we would play with them any time again if we could. Yeah, we really like them. And we like them both as artists.
I'm signing out. Have a good one.
Because they're awesome, super talented, but we also like them as people. They're really, really good people.
Like a hanging cigarette. Well.
All three of them, like Blake too.
Yeah.
We didn't know until the day of that Blake was playing with Ash, so... Yeah. But it was awesome. It was cool to see them together. It's so cute! They're so in love. It's adorable. They're getting married this summer, so they're in that puppy love phase, I think. So the week before the WIXX showcase, we had this show at one of our favorite venues, and it was amazing. We just it was just such an amazing show, and we got so boosted from that we were like, whatever happens tonight is fine, because like we had such a good show the week before, and we were playing pretty much the same set, so we assumed that it was going to go over well, and that gave us the confidence, I think. And then it's always fun when you have friends in the audience. Okay, beautiful. Oh, okay, seriously, I'm dizzy.
Do you want to sign 7000?
No, it says 7K. I mean, you can write it if you want.
Cool. This was a show that was probably the first show that we have actually done all the promotion for. We got the openers, we had to put up posters around town, we had to
give out tickets.
Yeah, get tickets to people, and basically everyone who showed up was there because of us. So it was very much, I think, a little bit nerve-wracking, where we weren't really sure if anyone was going to show up, because sometimes people don't. And so I think that's more what I was nervous about.
And this year, when we got the entries in, myself and Paul, who you've seen set up the cameras and walk around, were kind of in charge of it. And when we saw 7000 Apart's entry this year, we both looked at each other and we thought, I hope these guys win. We want them to win. But it's a voting contest, so we really don't have any control. Well, thankfully, everybody in this room must have voted a lot, so thank you. And more than that, and they won, and we're super happy about it, so we're super excited to have them here. And thank all of you for coming out and supporting this event tonight. We're really excited about it. And we're really excited to see the performance. So without further ado, big round of applause for 7000 Apart.
But when we walked in, felt the energy, it was awesome energy in there. That's just like, whew, okay, we're good. Let's have an awesome night. I really like performing. And when you feel like you have the audience with you, like if they laugh at your jokes, or when they're like applauding a lot or screaming, that just gives me such energy. Like, I give 100% on stage. I really try to. And I have a lot of energy, but when I get that energy back, like my energy just goes through the roof, and I have so much fun. And when I feel like I can be myself, because that's pretty important to us, that we're honest with what we say, and we just like kind of say what's on our minds, whatever, you know. Sorry, I'm really out of breath. I need to work out more. Zumba one day a week is not enough. I really, 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 really like you. You like you, do like us. Think of us alike on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and YouTube and all of those places. Because we're still in this starting out phase, and it's so easy to be hard on yourself and be like, oh, like I have this big goal, or I have these big dreams that I'm gonna be a famous singer and I want to tour the world, and we might not be like at the top yet, but we're like getting there, and we are performing our songs and we are singing our songs. People are actually showing up.
So it's just kind of it's a cool feeling to know that even though you're not where you want to be at right now, you're on your way there, and you're moving more towards that every single day, and the harder you work, you can actually see the results, and I think that that's really cool.
Just close your eyes. Sometimes the nightmares win. Just close your eyes. Maybe the end is where life begins.
People might think that in order to like be a musician and to make a living off of that, you have to be super big. You have to be like Lady Gaga or Ed Sheeran or whatever. But like we are getting closer and closer to doing music full time. And I mean, we're still really small. Like you don't. It's all about how hard you work and how many shows you book and how much you push yourself and trying to be better and making those connections and stuff.
Being a good person.
Yeah, and yeah, just like being someone like, because personality is part of it too. Because no one wants to work with you if you have a super big head or stuff like that. I like that we get to do this from the bottom, literally from the bottom up, and that it is a little slow, but I enjoy that. We have more time to figure out who we are, what music we want to do, why we are doing this.
Close your eyes, let the darkness seep right through your skin. Just close your eyes, sometimes the nightmares when.
So I think our biggest goal is to really just figure out, again, like what style of music we want to do for this next album that we're working on and next music that we're going to release, and really figure out how we're going to do that and figure out really like how to do basic things in the music industry, like booking tours and just getting a step further than where we're at right now. And I think that our goal is, at least my goal is, just to try to figure that out to some extent, because it's something that I'm not used to.
Yeah.
There's so much that I can't see.
For sure.
But I think like where we want to end up, like when we feel like yeah, we don't have to go further than this, like it would be to be able to tour theaters, because we're very much like I'm a theater person, but that's not what but our music is very theater friendly. Like people sit down, they listen. Like we're not like the kind of like, we wouldn't do arenas, I don't think, but I think theaters would be something that I really want to do.
'Cause all that I need is this place you feel in the right side of my heart. I think I wanted to stay.
If we have 7000 Apart as our main focus for both of us, it makes it very easy to stay on track. We won't get too distracted by other things.
3 years and I can still feel your time.
It's mostly great. It's mostly really, really awesome. You always have your best friend with you to everything that you do, which is really cool. And you don't have to be alone in it either, which is really nice. And we can split up things like, oh yeah, I can sign that document, or I can call that person. It's just like, it's more effective, I guess.
There's also, I think, a lot more investment in it. You're not just with a friend who can be like, oh no, I don't want to do this anymore as much. You're more with someone who, if your goals are both aligned, they're like really aligned.
Yeah.
And you're both really going after whatever you're wanting to do. And I think that's really helpful with being in a band.
It makes it very
So-
serious. Like we said in the previous interview, that 7000 Apart is not just a band, it's our life too. And since if this is our life and this is 7000 Apart, it's like this, you know?
I want to love like that. One last one, right? I want to love
love you guys a lot, and thanks for supporting our story and helping us along the way. Like, we really couldn't do this without you guys.
No.
So
Goodness, no.
it's amazing every time that anyone says that they appreciate what we're doing.
Yeah,
so.
or just shows up to a show. I mean, that means the world to us.
I want to love like that. Nice. I want to love like that. One last time. Give me everything now, come on. I want to love like that. Like that. Thank you guys so much.
Great job, Jill.
I don't know what a Who face is, but...
You don't? You haven't seen that movie?
Yeah.
No, sorry, I didn't
Isn't
know
that's like weirdly
Accurate.
right?
You have no idea. Have you guys never seen that movie?
You guys are so deprived.
Yeah.
I thought you would Bully Wumpa instead. You guys are the ones that are deprived. Did you watch Bully Wumpa? I don't think so.
What?
Bully Wumpa.
Is it Swedish? What is it?
It's Bully Wumpa. It's the best kid show. Mm-hmm.